Everyone,
Morning.
so call to order. Everybody's here. Let's do a pledge of allegiance. Everybody stand. Hats off. Hats off. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. So we have an agenda. Do we have an acceptance of the agenda?
I will move that we accept the agenda.
Okay.
Second.
Second, all right. Agenda is accepted. Public comments on the agenda items only. Anybody to have 3 minutes if they want to speak?
Were there agendas available for us to see what you have on the agenda?
Do we have,
I don't have any printed ones, but they were on our website, but you can have.
yeah, can we pull it up on the?
Did you need my agenda?
Would that be also considered public comments regarding the new business, or is that going to be new business and then the public comments? Is that right?
Well, the public comments can be on the new business.
Okay. Which means that if anyone has any issues with the challenge books, they can at this time speak. Is that correct?
Correct.
Do they just speak when they're received? Do they?
You can come up and sign your name.
Okay.
Speak.
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble hearing. Is there any way that we can make this more audible for everybody?
Yes. Basically, what I said is if you have issues about the challenge books, you want to go up there right now, sign in, and you have time right now to get 3 minutes to speak.
And what is a challenge book?
These are books
Well,
that,
that's the thing, we don't know.
we don't know, this is really sort of messed up. How do you do this? I mean, obviously, somebody knows about the challenge books because somebody posted to come here about the challenge books. Do you have a list of the challenge books that are available so people can, were made public? before the
They
meeting?
were on the website for a while. They were taken down after 30 days.
The name, the list of the books that were.
Right, and then there's 3 more that are being, the challenge is being challenged.
So those are 3 books that are being challenged, correct, at this point?
Correct.
I apologize, this is all sort of new to me.
Okay.
I sat where you sat for 6 years, so trust me, I
Yep.
understand some of that, but I'm new to the area, so,
Okay. Well,
what are the 3 challenge books that Greg knows?
The first one is ABC of Equality, printed in 2019. What is that? C.G. Ewing. Girls Resist. Call to Activism, Leadership, and Revolution.
That was published in 2008.
2008.
18.
18 by Kayla Rich. And Jacob's New Dress, 2014 by Ian and Sarah Hoffman.
Okay, so obviously, so if anyone has a challenge with those 3 books, they're to come up right now, sign in. No, this is the time that they're.
Public comments.
Right, this is the time for public comments.
Comments later. If they have comments, this is the time for anyone who has comments about those books.
So we can't comment later, this
No,
is it?
this is it, so do it now. Thank you. That's backwards, but that, you know what? We're not, we can't redo their. I know, it should be at the end, sorry.
Same place they were
I
last
think there's a
year.
confusion because with public comments, it states agenda items only, and then further down in the agenda, it states challenge books. So that's where I think the confusion is lying
Oh,
here.
that, well, see, that's under new business.
Exactly, under new business, not agenda items, yes.
So anyhow, come up and talk
Yes.
now.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
I would recommend if you folks can't hear to move your chairs, not to make, bring your rows longer this way maybe.
Here, I'm gonna move this over here, Bill.
Okay.
Here you go, sweetie. There you go. So, do we want to go down over here?
These are books that have been taken off of the shelf
So you each get 3 minutes then.
They're an adult.
in the adult section, but they would like to put them back in the children's.
I'm sorry?
For a clarification on these 3 books. These 3 books had already been taken out of the children's section and put into the adult-only section.
Okay.
There's a request to have them put back into the children's section. And that's what we're voting on today. That's the item for the
Okay.
challenged books is,
So you aren't voting on removing them entirely, just from the,
no, we're not removing them from the library. We're just taking them out of the children's section. If an adult wants to sign them out for their child, that's up to them.
Right, that's on them. So currently, these books are in the adult section.
Correct.
And someone is petitioning to put them back with the children. And you guys are gonna vote on that under new business?
Correct. That is correct.
Okay.
Who's petitioning that?
Could
Does it
we-
matter?
We need to go with that.
Not right now.
Nancy
We
Pope.
lost track of this meeting totally. Totally lost track of this meeting.
defended by herself.
He's totally lost track of this meeting.
Well, she petitioned by herself, but
Gina, thank
Jay,
you for putting
would you like to review
Oh, that's not your last name.
current policy?
I'm up here. She's
Dan, okay, covered, it's gonna be covered.
yeah.
That saves me from going back
Yep.
and finding it. Thank you.
You know, you can't fix
I know.
Yeah. Like, see you do same. Thank you, Tess.
All of the names?
I got it, yes.
Thank you.
You know, this is my
Got
first
my
time
timer.
Okay, we need to go.
introducing yourselves. I don't know who you are.
Okay, well, let's start down on this end.
I'd like to introduce myself to all of you. My name is Dr. Mary Pat Brooks. This is my first year being on the library board. My name is Dr. Mary Pat Brooks, first year being on the library board, and my library is Sunrise Beach Library.
I'm Rebecca Sofalo, everybody calls me Becky. I haven't even been on the board 6 months yet, so, I'm new to the board and, just like being here, I'm trying to work for the community.
My name is Vicki and I am the assistant director.
I'm Jim Paisley. I'm the director of the Camdenton Library District, or Camden Library District.
I'm Jay Menard. I'm the vice president, acting president right now.
Okay.
I'm Nancy Pope. I'm the newest member of the board.
And on the screen is Adam Gutman, who is the president.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. So, first speaker,
It's like Dan Ousley.
3 minutes.
The names of the books that are wanting to be reintroduced, could I just get those names again?
the names again were Jacob's New Dress, ABC of Equality, and Girls Resist, Guide to Activism, Leadership, and Revolting.
Yeah, I challenged all 3 of those books. They definitely don't belong in the children's section of the library. I think one of them, I think my wife might have even read in here. I can't remember if that was one of them or not, but I mean.
Little daughter, Dad.
Definitely they don't belong in the children's sections. Really, that's all I got.
Amen.
How
Okay.
much you have left?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, Gerald Greenbach?
How you doing?
Oh,
Pleasure. Thank you for having me for just a few minutes. So, on the Jacob's New Dress or it really, the names of the books don't matter much. The content does. Sexually explicit books or explicit books, period. If I could get arrested for handing it to a child on the street, it shouldn't be in the library with my tax dollars, period. Definitely shouldn't be in the children's section or in the schools. Let's start with that. As far as the revolution, I haven't had a chance to ask for the order of books that were going to be on this. I didn't see it. I know it was on the website now, but that's the first I heard of it. If I had a chance to review it a little more, I'd have more pointed criticism, but just from the title. I think we have the best country in the world. We have a lot of problems. Everybody has a lot of problems, but as far as the world goes, we're the best model that exists in all of history. I don't know that violent revolution or any other such thing is really a plus. I see a lot of chaos out in the streets. I don't really see a lot of positive impact on lives. I see lives lost and lives destroyed. You know, when I grew up, where I grew up, there really, wasn't a lot of hatred. There was, you had your beefs with some bully or something, and that was about it. I think a lot of this is completely fabricated to just basically divide and get people pissed at each other so that they can just cull us and, get the very top elite to do what they want to do and keep the rest of us dumb and divided. So I think we just need to focus a little bit more on asking, why is it these things should be in our children's hands? How is this benefiting them? And what is the damage that could be done to them? And there's studies out there that makes them more susceptible to exploitation when they're exposed to this kind of graphic material. And exploitation and human trafficking is a real serious problem. I don't really see any upside to having these. So, thank you much.
Thank you.
Yes, Bill Munhausen.
I was going to with the next.
Okay, show me I can do that.
Morning, Bill, how you
Morning,
doing?
everybody.
Well, hi, Bill.
Hi.
If anybody doesn't know, Bill moved out of Camden County, so that's why he's no longer on the board.
Yes, but I'm still a taxpayer in Camden County.
Well, good. We need your money.
Yes. Yeah, I moved unwillingly, by the way. That's a whole other story. They didn't run me out of town, but it was an accident. I don't quite know, as a former board member, I was kind of involved when this whole controversy began. And it became kind of an unfortunate controversy between, I guess you could say, homosexual advocates and Christian conservatives. And I think it really has nothing to do with it. Because what's the best way to lean into this? When I was much younger, I coached my daughter's sports team. This was back in the liberal state of California. And the league had a rule that prohibited me from meeting privately with my team because they thought it was inappropriate for an adult male to be with a bunch of girls. And they were concerned about, even though they weren't concerned about me personally, it wasn't a matter of my rights, it was a matter of protecting the kids. So they required that there always had to be a female mother of one of the team members at every practice so that there could be no possibility of pedophilia. They went overboard to protect the kids. And I could have been offended by that. Being the coach, I could have insisted that I should be able to meet with my kids, my team, but I understood the reason for the rule, so I cooperated with the rule. The issue here now is how to protect children. Am I talking to you guys or those guys? I'll stand back.
They're the voters.
Yeah, the question is how to best protect kids.
Right.
And we don't know the influences that might happen through literature. I'm an English literature major. That was my major at the university. And I understand the power of words.
Sorry.
I have 1 minute?
1 minute.
This is hopeless. And this is the problem with having a serious debate when somebody's trying to call you. A serious debate about such a sensitive topic. because human sexuality and people's sexual preferences are very personal, private, very compelling. There's no way graciously, intellectually to resolve that whole issue with a 3-minute speech, and I have 30 seconds left.
We have 27.
Yeah, but the thing is there, because of the controversy, the state legislature has weighed in on it. The library is a political entity. The main person in charge of it is the state attorney general. He's passed rules that we have to have rules to protect kids in the way we buy books for the collection. It insists that we have a written collection policy. The library currently does not have such a thing. And because of that, Professor Paisley came up with a compromise, which was a good compromise, but it's not going to last, because at some point we have to conform to the law.
Carol Byington?
Yes, sir.
My name is Carol Byington. I've been living in Camden County for 25 years. I have 22 years in the Missouri school system, thanks to Mr. Paisley's excellent history class at Columbia College. And I am concerned. I am highly concerned. And I feel, well, feelings don't matter. Let's get to facts. 22 years in the Missouri school system shows you a lot about the kids in our area. Kids, period. And the stuff, and I use that term loosely, the things that they have to contend with in life. And people think that they are resilient and they'll get over that divorce and they will adapt to this situation, or the fact that mommy's got a girl, you know, a lady living with her, or that kind of thing. These kids don't. It affects them. I saw it firsthand multiple years in the classroom. And to think that our public library is going to have Jimmy's new dress, or whatever the title was, like you said, sir, and you were so right. It doesn't matter about the title, it's the content. In the kids section, you guys have a really cool kids section. I've been in there on the floor looking at books for hours, just scouring stuff, trying to find things to bring home, to share with my grandkids, to share with the kids at church, because I was a teacher at church as well. But I don't want to have to go in there with my 7 grandkids and, oh wait, let me look through that book first to make sure that you know, this Disney princess isn't kissing on Belle. You know, I don't want to have to do that. That's ridiculous. These poor kids have enough to deal with some of their crummy home lives without having to add that kind of junk to the library. This is a place where kids should be able to come, relax, maybe get away in a cool book, Patricia Polacco or some of the awesome Tommy DePaula, some of the good children's authors, but not have to come here and learn about things that don't make sense to them anyway. They're too young to understand. Right. And to stand here and pledge allegiance to our God,
That's right.
and then talk about having a book about Jimmy's dress in the library is hypocritical.
Yes.
In my book.
Yes.
I agree. I pray that you all will reconsider this. It is wrong in the eyes of our Creator.
Amen.
Amen. And now Michael.
Come on over. Well, that was my beautiful wife, Carol. She was a teacher for a long time and would come home and tell stories about the kids that she dealt with. She takes it very much to heart, and so do I. We've got 7 grandkids with 1 on the way. Kids should be allowed to be kids. Amen. When they come to the library, they go in the kids section, and your little sign says something about no adults unless they're accompanied by a kid, which that implies kids can go in there by themselves. They should be able to go in there and read books like Curious George, not Jimmy's Got a Dress. If you want to put that in the adult section, if you're a parent and you want to teach that to your child, that's your deal. I don't agree with it, but that's your deal. But it should not be available for the kids just to come up and grab. That's ridiculous.
Amen.
I mean, come on. Let a child be a child. Don't force that stuff on my grandkids or my kids or anybody else's kids, no more than there should be explicit sexual books on how to be a heterosexual in the child. That's not children's stuff.
Right.
Let them learn their ABCs, and not the gay ABCs either. All right? So I mean, it's pretty simple. We don't have to, let your heart be the guide. If you want to deal with children and that, you know what? If somebody's here that thinks this sexually explicit material is all right, do it invite the kids over to your house and then show the kids the book at your house.
That's right.
But you know, there's a problem with that, because if you did that, you'd be accused of pedophilia.
Yeah.
That's right about that.
So how can it be pedophilia inside your house and not here at the library? It's absolutely hypocrisy and insane. That's all I-
Ted Bond.
Promise this won't take 3 minutes. My friend Michael told me about this. We play music together, and when I heard about it, I got pissed. You gotta be a certain age to get a driver's license.
That's right. That's right.
You gotta be a certain age to drink alcohol.
That's right.
You gotta be a certain age to join the military. But to say that you can sexualize an 8-year-old
That's right.
is wrong.
That's right.
All of that should be in the family, at the house, like Michael just said. It does not need to be out here in a public library. It's pathetic.
That's right.
That's all I gotta say.
Gina, I'm sure I'm gonna screw this up, Weishar?
Yeah. Actually, you didn't.
Wow.
My first question is, why are we even discussing this? This should not even be
That's right.
an issue for discussion.
That's right.
Okay, this should be a no-brainer. I mean, it honestly should be. Okay, my next question is, any of these books that are child appropriate, do they have any illustrations in them?
Yes. Yes.
Is anybody in this room aware that you are distributing and in possession of child pornography?
Yes.
According to the state of Missouri. And here's another little tidbit. How'd you get the books?
Yep.
Were they mailed?
Yep.
Were they sent by Amazon?
Nope. They forwarded them.
That's a federal statute,
That's right.
and that constitutes child pornography.
Oh, yeah.
So you people are all committing child pornography,
With our tax.
which is pedophilia. Now, any one of us in this room can call the feds right now and prove our point. And each and every one of you should go to jail.
Amen.
You are distributing child pornography. And we're here discussing this? Have you people lost your mind?
That's right.
You are all criminals.
That's right.
God, I am so sorry. Standing is not one of my good points
I
tonight.
understand.
I need to lean on this thing. So, I am just confused. Why are we doing this? Why are we allowing child pornography in the library at all?
We're not.
Or anywhere?
We're not allowing it.
But it's here.
Yeah.
But nobody's being held accountable. Okay? Now,
And at this point, if I may interject, go ahead and stop our time. These books do not fall under any of the child pornography laws. We've studied the laws, we've looked at the laws. These are outside the laws. They're suggestive, but they're not explicit.
that doesn't matter. Did you read the federal law? I did.
I've read
This
the federal
morning.
laws.
I read the law this morning, and I copied it.
Also, these books were in the library when everybody on this board was not on this board. So we all came in after the fact. And so what we are doing is, our goal is to take inappropriate books out of the children's section if the public deems are inappropriate, because unfortunately, we don't have time. Thanks, Derek. We don't have time to read every book that's in the library already. We, as the books are being promoted to come in, we can scan the books to see if it's something, because like Bill once said, we don't have unlimited room and we don't have unlimited funds, so we can be selective what books come in.
It's called the welfare of the people. Amen.
Mr. President,
And
if
you
we
haven't
may,
read them,
she
you
still
should have
has
them on the
49
shelf.
seconds left. Could we let her continue with her 49
Okay,
seconds?
so
Thank
may
you.
continue. I just wanted to bring that point up that these books do not fall under the pornography laws.
And actually, like I said, and I have a copy of it, because I took it and I looked it up this morning.
Okay.
So it does fall under the federal statute because you got them through the mail. Whether you knowingly knew that they came or not, that's on you. Number two, they're inappropriate, you're questionable. Are you that incompetent that you can't use your own head and go, yeah, no, I don't think so, this ain't right? That you have to get the public's view? Okay? I mean, really, that if you are that inept at doing your job and automatically removing them, and I don't mean removing them like banning them, okay? Like you had that goofy kid-only section, which was ludicrous. How about an adult-only, locked up? Anybody over 21 has to prove it, and they can get the book. So you all do need to go to jail. No, I didn't do it.
All right, I gotta step in here and say something.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, of all the people that you could accuse of not listening to the public, you are barking up the wrong tree with this group. We're here because we did listen to the public. We are here because we're trying to fix what's been done with past sins. And to turn around and say that we're incompetent just really pretty well torques me to no end. Since I've been here, we have put into place a selection policy. We put it in place, this group. We also put into place every book that comes through this library comes across my desk. And after I look at the books, if there's anything questionable, it goes before this board. So to say that these books, that we're still doing this, that just is not going to fly, period. And by God, go ahead and prosecute me if you'd like, because I'd be more than happy to tell any attorney, here's what I've done to fix this issue. Now, having said that, our current policy, so everybody understands how this works. People, you, the people, are the ones that have the say. Not me, not the board, not the legislature. You have the opportunity to fill out a challenge book form. Here they are, right here. That is exactly what's been done. We are following the policy that I put in place. All right? So you all understand that. You are free as a public to come in here and challenge any book you want. And let's get off this LGBTQ stuff. If you want to come in here and challenge the Communist Manifesto, have at it. Put it on there. I don't care what the book is. We can walk out here right now and everybody pull one book, bring it back here, and I'll guarantee you, somebody in the room can find something wrong with it. So, I'm sorry, but you guys are going to have to turn around and realize we're doing what we can to fix this problem. We're not causing the problem. Now, the policy states that they fill out the form. Any of you can fill one out. You fill it out, it comes to me. I look at it, I pull the book off the shelf per policy. All right? That book gets tagged, okay? So if it's in the kids section, we've already come up with a policy how to mark that book, just very similar to when you have, when we had records with labels on them, warning labels, when you had kids' games with labels. Same thing, we're doing it with the book. And we're putting it in the adult section because I am not going to ban any books. Right. No books will be banned. All right? But I am going to do everything I can to keep books that the public feels are a challenge, that shouldn't be in the kids section. I will grant the wishes by passing it on to the board and letting them decide. Does it belong in the adult section or does it belong in the kids section? Now understand something. How many of you in here have a boss? How many? Raise your hand. Okay. All right. Yeah, it might be your wife, right? How would you like to have 5 bosses? That's what I have right here. Okay? And I'm trying to keep everybody happy, including the public. So, by golly, if a challenge book comes in, I'm going to follow the policy. I'm going to give it to the board. The board will make the decision. We can turn around and bring these books in here and debate all day long. Everybody in this room, we could debate, the whole county could debate the merits of any one book. To what end? I was hired to do a job. They're here voluntarily to do a job, and they're doing it. It's on them to make the decision whether the book goes back into the kids section, if it stays in the adult section, but that's why you have a board. And it's not just one person like me ultimately saying, I deem it so. We're fixing it, okay? It's being fixed. So, like I say, you want to prosecute me, have at it. I'll be more than happy to show the policy, and everybody's welcome to follow. Okay? Thank you.
I didn't sign that paper. But my question is,
You have to sign.
was those 3 books out and now you're thinking about bringing them back, or somebody wants to bring them back?
Yes, on the challenge form, what's being requested is that 3 books that we have previously pulled and put on the adult shelves and tagged them so that kids can't check them out.
But now somebody
They feel that the book should be back in the children's section. That is the way that our country works, folks. It's First Amendment rights. Okay?
Michael.
Can I ask a question? What is the process for books to be put into the children's section? In other words, they would have to be ordered, I guess, or do they just get shipped to you automatically? Do you order it? And then once you have it, where is the decision? Who makes the decision on what's going into the children's section?
The way the process works is each branch manager, they work with the public as to what books they'd like to see on the shelves, and they order the books. That order then comes to me, and I review every book that is ordered, every one of them. And they come as children's books, and they come as adults' books. And I take the time to do reviews. Every book that comes in, I can't catch them all. There are 50,000 books here, but I have been reviewing every one, and yes, I have culled several books before they ever made it to the shelf.
So just so it's clear in my head, so somebody says, I would like to see these books in the children. And who is that somebody? You said
The public.
But I mean, where does that take place? Is there a monthly meeting where we come in and say these are the books we want? How do you get the public's opinion?
This is where the public works with their branch manager, and they said, I would like to have more James Patterson books. I would like to have these books. And the librarian then selects the books.
That could be one person in the whole community, or it could be 1,000 people.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Okay?
So, Professor Paisley, would you tell the group how long you've been doing this, reviewing all of the books?
Since the day I walked in here.
Which has only been how long?
Since January the 12th.
Yes.
So, yeah, and books that are previously, that we've looked at here, that are in the challenge section, I've gone back and looked. These things have been bought 2-3 years ago, some of them as much as, as short a time as a year ago. But again, we're being beat about the head and face over past sins, and we're doing what we can to try and get what the public wants. That's all we're asking. And again, it's not my decision. I will do what I can to police what we have right now. But again, I am not judge, jury, and executioner. That's what the board is for. I take the stuff and give it to them and say, what's your call here? And then they make the decision based on the challenge form. And these challenge forms, you'll see on the form itself, it gives you, the individual, the opportunity to say why you think it should be back. Whether or not if you think it's offensive, and why you think it should be allowed to go into a certain section. It's all there.
And if I could ask one more question about that.
Absolutely.
So when a book goes into the children's section, the public might not necessarily know about that book unless the new books that have been added to the section, the children's section, would have been in some way announced.
That is correct.
Is there some kind of a vehicle to make that happen?
No.
That would probably be a really good idea, just so that people are aware of what new books are being put in there. So if they have either objections or if they think it's a great idea, then you guys, the board, would be aware of that. But if it's if we're not aware of it, then all of a sudden we go in and we see that our grandkid brings home this book that's completely inappropriate, then of course that's going to get people pretty ticked off.
Well,
they have the option to see, well, these new books are going to, and if they have it upon themselves, and I understand, most people don't, but they have it within themselves to take the time to read the book, then it would give the public corporately a better handle on what's going on up here, and it'd probably make your job easier. It'd take a lot of heat. I don't like to see you guys take heat, because I appreciate what you do, but I think that would be a good way to prevent the anger and outrage about books being put in the children's section without people knowing about it.
My question was, these 3 books was put into the adult section because they were questioned. Why are they now wanting to bring them back?
Because
maybe I can answer that, because I'm Nancy Pope.
I know who you are.
And I'm going to stand up as a member of the community rather than as a board member, because I put in my challenge to the challenge book as a member of the community. I'm a family therapist, and so children's interests are priorities for me. One of the books is called Girls Resist. It was a great book about girls standing up for themselves. It goes into some facts about 1 out of 9 women are molested as children. And girls need to know how to stand up for themselves when placed into a situation in which they can be sexually abused or exploited, or somebody brought up trafficked. And so we want girls to be aware of how to stand up for themselves. Another issue was that women are underrepresented in Congress. There are so many fewer women in the House of Representatives and Senate. And that women would do a good job of doing so. And women would be a good way to have our voices heard.
Teach them at home. Teach them at home.
So there are some other issues about how to stand up in a free and democratic country. And here we are. You all are doing just what this book is recommending, which is coming forward, expressing your point of view. And that's what this book suggests, is that girls learn how to step up and have a voice.
That's why it's good to be in the adult section, not the kids section.
So a second book is a little, the second.
Let her speak.
Okay, I did respect you all as you talked. I would like to say kind of.
That's enough. Everybody will be asked to leave unless we can have some order.
Thank you.
So a second book is a board book. You know, the little board books for children. It's about the ABCs of diversity, I think it is, or equality. And it's, like D is for diversity, E is for equality, and it's about things that we as a country stand for. We are a melting pot. The United States is a wonderful place where all people are welcome and everybody has fair access to opportunity. This is a little board book, and it only can be checked out if a parent is available because it's for little kids. The third one I think seems to be the one that most people take offense to, which is Jacob's New Dress. And as a therapist, I run into little boys who like to wear dresses or like to wear satiny things like satin pajamas. And I would run into them when they were very young in therapy. And it's not like anybody was grooming them. It's just that they like those clothing better. Just like little girls like to wear blue jeans when they're little also, just like nowadays we wear pants. And it's kind of like fashion changes, and we're going to condemn this book and say it's pornography. It is not pornography. It's just about clothing and about accepting people who might want to wear clothing differently. Those are the reasons that I objected, and I don't like books that are segregated so that the children for whom they are designed can't have access to them, or have to have an adult check it out for them if they don't know that the book is there. And the little kid comes in and might be interested in that. Will they be able to find it in the adult section without a parent present? Or if they ask a librarian. So I just
We
want
only
to make
have
sure
10
that
seconds
books are accessible for anybody who wants them. Thank you.
That's a good point.
I have one question. Nancy, you're a child therapist?
I'm a family therapist.
A family therapist. How many children do you have?
I have 2 children and 4 lovely granddaughters
Okay.
whom I want to be able to stand up for themselves, for sure.
All right. Back to our list. Terry Gutman, you're up.
Hi guys, my name is Terry Gutman and I'd like to speak on responsibilities we have as adults, parents, and educators. My background is in child development, social work, and I have a master's in psychology. There are laws in place to protect our children. These laws are in place for a reason. They protect the innocence of children who are entering a crucial part of development. They cannot purchase cigarettes or alcohol until the age of 21. They can't get a driver's license until the age of 16. This is where stage of development is relevant. Children do not have the capacity or cognitive ability to apply judgment and insight or form rational decisions, especially about gender, sexuality, or preference. For example, Oshkosh B'gosh does not sell cigarettes or alcohol, right? Okay, there's a reason for that. They begin to gain an understanding and insight of responsibilities, consequences, and actions when the parents introduce values and beliefs to their children at home. If a parent wants to engage or expose their child to gender identity, sexual orientation, or how babies are made, so be it. I am not here to propose how parents raise their child or what their values and beliefs should be. However, as a parent and a tax-paying citizen of Camden County, I am opposed to inappropriate material that can arouse curiosity of innocent children being accessible in the library. I am opposed to the public library blatantly subverting the law. If parents want such material for their child, go to the bookstore and buy it. That's legal. Without subjecting innocent children who are in a stage of life where they should be learning about fundamentals of basic, elementary, and education. This is the responsibility of all of us as adults, parents, and educators. The public library is bound by law to not accept specific material in the library. This is not a legislative board and cannot change the law, but must obey it. I have citations that someone mentioned right here. You guys have them in front of you. Those are the sites that you can go to. Thank you guys. This should not be
Ann Courier?
I'd like to address Nancy Pope. Respectfully, I've read those books. You did sugarcoat over the nice parts. I don't approve of Jacob's dress because that is encouraging a tender-age child to follow those maybe thoughts that he might have. And it's a hard life for someone to be gay or queer, because most people are not accepting of that, because it's not biblical to begin with, amongst other things. That's a hard life. So if a parent can steer that child in the right direction, then that child is gonna have a much easier life, if possible, if it's possible to do that. There is a book out on the new book section, Raising Queer Kids and Their Allies. I don't think that when new books come in, before they hit your desk, Dr. Jim Paisley, that every new book that comes in this library, I know you have a lot to do, and you can't look at every book, I understand that. And I'm thankful that you're our new director. I've heard a lot of good stuff about you. We cannot get out here, a lot of us, and look at every new book that comes in this library. And it's your guys' job to make sure that those books that do not belong for tender age children be out there to begin with. And I know you guys have a big job and a busy schedule, like the rest of us do. And we depend on you guys to keep our children safe. And we appreciate the job that you're doing, so we just want to, but we care for our children. We love our children. I love my grandchildren. It's my job because I have a daughter that doesn't go and care because she's got a busy schedule, and she's also kind of brainwashed by society.
40 seconds.
That she's not watching over my grandkids and doing the job that she should be doing as a parent. So I'm picking up the slack. And so this is why I'm here, to make sure that my little grandson, that's 9 years old, doesn't get this stuff crammed in his head from school or anywhere else and be misled. Thank you, guys.
Can I make a statement?
Sure. You're going to speak as a person instead of part of the board?
Yes, I'm speaking as a person. I was made aware of that book, and right away I came to Jim and I talked to him and asked him if it was a new book, and it was not.
And why is it on the new book section?
Those books will generally sit on the new book section for almost a year. Yes.
So, and I apologize. I did go and I checked into it, which we all try to help him because he does have, you know, a full schedule. And I was told that it was an older book, and that it had already been processed the way. Why it was on the table, I don't know. But I did double check, and it was not a new book. There have been no new books purchased since this board has been enacted.
Okay.
May I ask one more question?
Sure.
How
Briefly.
is it that you become a member of the board? Is that something where the public votes on it, or is it an appointment by somebody on?
We're appointed by the commissioner, the Camden County Commission, which we have two of them here.
All right, and so to be eligible to be considered for an appointment, you have to get a hold of the county commissioner?
You have to put in an application with the county commission, yes.
Got it, okay.
And then they will review your credentials. You'll go to a meeting. They'll listen to you. They'll vote on.
So with that in mind, then for people in the community who are so concerned, and rightfully so, about the material that's in the library, they should probably then put the applications in to be part of the board, so that the board would reflect the values of Camden County as opposed to maybe the values of Sacramento, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's,
Anybody in this room could apply, and if one of us gets kicked off or retires, any one of you could be selected to be put back on the board.
Are there terms?
Yes.
Yes.
How long are they?
Is that 4 years?
4-year terms? So.
4.
So then I would think that it would even be better to say anyone here should, not could, should apply for that, so that the true values of Camden County are reflected on the board and not values from either, from other places. And like,
Well, that's true. Give the board a chance to see if we're moving along. I mean, it's coming up for the county commission right now, and I was considering running for the first chair, or first district chair for the county commission, but Mr. Gohagen there is doing such a wonderful job, I have no interest in trying to replace him. Oh,
Are there
okay.
any vacant spots on the board, or are they just comprised of 5?
It's a board of 5.
Thank you.
These books be constantly challenged. I mean, say the board decides to keep them in the adult section. Can someone come along and challenge them again and again and again?
I'm glad you asked that question, because there's a hole. I tried to get the policy in place that would work best, and it is a compromise, and I think it's the best compromise you can have. I am part of a multi-list with all the other 50 libraries that we're tied together with, and I posed that question, because you're right, it's a never-ending cycle. As soon as you pull it, somebody challenges it again, and it's probably a revision to the policy we should add that other libraries do, that you can only challenge a certain book once a year, once every 6 months, something along that line. And I'm currently looking at that as to how other libraries are doing that.
There is no policy right now.
Right now, we have a policy on selecting books and challenging them, but we didn't include anything because we didn't anticipate this being a never-ending cycle.
So if you decide to keep it in the adult section, it could be challenged next month again.
Right.
now.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah, and I like the idea of once a year. Because if it's been challenged and moved to the adult section, obviously it's been challenged and people decided, yes, it should be in the adult section, not in the children's section, so we don't need to go through this every other month.
How does the public learn of a challenge? Is there a way?
Well, here, I'll explain this one, okay? And then that's where some questions have come up. The policy, the way it's written is, like I say, the challenge form comes to me. I forward it to the board, okay? The board then will make a decision. That's where you see your, this on the agenda for the challenge books. The board will make a decision whether the books, and in this case, do they stay where they're at or do they go back into the kids section? The board will vote based on the information they have, whether it stays or it gets moved. Once the board has made their decision, then I'm required by law to post that challenge form on our website. The form will be there and it will show, here's the book, here's what the challenge was, here's the action of the board. That's the way the process works. Yes,
I
ma'am?
understand that today we all have to get one of those challenge forms and fill it out and then call all of our friends and neighbors to come and get challenge forms and fill them out, and so that you have a great big old stack. Does it matter how many we have in order for this to be activated?
It has to be at least one.
One book will do it.
One challenge form.
Otherwise, you can challenge, I've got 50,000 books here. You want to challenge them on all of them? That would keep these guys pretty busy.
Particular books that we're here to address today.
Those 3 books have already been challenged. The process is in the works right now. What we're doing is, I've looked at the challenges, I have forwarded them to the board. The board is in a position right now where they will vote and make a decision on those 3 books. And then I will post what their decision is along with that challenge form on our website.
See, I think the challenge I have is that I didn't know what the 3 books. I got an email from this lady who said, show up.
Okay, let me explain now a little further here, okay? Because, again, we don't want to get into a debate on the merits of every book in the library.
Right.
So the way this works is, once they've made their decision, and I post this thing publicly on our website, you'll see the name of the book, person that challenged it, what their argument was for why it should be changed, and then the action of the board. At that point, when we post that, you have the opportunity, and this relates back to what you said, if the public doesn't agree with the decision of the board, they can challenge that book.
Well, I think the point I was trying to make is that I'd like to get there before you make the, this is what we're here today, is we're here before you're making the decision, rather than after you've made a decision. Is there any way that the public can be informed when a book is challenged?
Here's the problem we have with that.
Okay.
All right, so you've got these challenged books, and we're going to turn around here in a public meeting, and every book, we're going to sit there and weigh the merits of good, bad, indifferent. You hired us to do that. The job is for me to look at the book, give it to the board, and you have a board that makes that decision. If you don't like their decision, you can challenge that. But to come in here and debate every book that comes in here.
I think the concern is only children's books. I don't think we need to do.
Well, you say that now, but somebody may have problems with, like I say, the writings of Karl Marx, or they may have problems with the writings of Muhammad. And so what we have to do, I'd love to make everybody happy in the whole community.
You mean you're not doing that?
I'm trying. Okay, but the problem with it is that everybody in this room has an opinion.
Right.
And it will not get anywhere. It's kind of like watching Congress, right? Everybody has an opinion and can't get anything done. What we need to do is the process we have allows us to look at it, bring it to the board, let them vote, and then I will tell you what's been decided, and if the public has a problem with that, then the next meeting is when you would come and say, hey, you made this decision on this book.
Are you already voted on this already?
No, we have not voted on these 3 books. That's why that's on the agenda here.
Excuse me, I'm going to have Mark show you, if you'll go back to the Camden County Library page, please, if you would, and then over to the left where it says About Us, that is your tab that you would use, and go down, I believe this is the right one, yes, for challenged books. It's down a couple more, honey, right there. And that's where you would see what the book challenges are. Is that correct?
After we've decided on.
After they've been decided
And after
on.
the decision is made, those forms right here will be on that site. So all the public can see exactly what was decided.
But weren't those books already challenged once and you put them in, so why, just because one person on your board thinks that they
No,
should
not
be-
one person on my board. You could have done the same thing. You could fill out a challenge form and say, I don't agree.
It's one resident in Camden County has the right to do this.
Right.
Lady back there has a question.
My granddaughter moved up her her kids, not her great-grandkids, my great-grandkids from California to get away from sexuality starting in kindergarten. Okay? So now we have the library and we have these books. Why can't our library in the kids section be a safe haven for our children so we don't have to worry? No, so we don't even have to do that. That you guys have common sense to know that these type of books inciting little kids to be whatever they want them to become. You don't get it. They get it in the mind. This
Did you
book
not
is-
hear what I said earlier? Every
Yes,
book
I
comes
did.
across my desk. I am doing what you're asking. I am
Well,
not,
why are we here? Just put her in the adult section.
it is in the adult section. We put it in the adult section and it has been challenged, and we're going through the process to allow that individual to challenge it. I don't know what else I could possibly do.
No, you're right, but it should be a safe haven for our children.
We agree.
That's all.
We all agree.
And none of these sexual books, that's why my granddaughter with the kids moved here, was to get away from sexualizing her little kids, an 8-year-old and the other ones too. But anyway, so otherwise, why bring them to the library? Just buy books, because she's a reader. Okay, Kaylani is a reader. So anyway, so that's why we were very particular on what she reads, what she sees, because, like, when I was a little kid, I wanted to be a bit moral, and they had the combat, so I was, here I am. But you know what? I didn't have anything to keep me going like that. I knew I was a girl, and I want my granddaughter to know she's a girl, and she's nothing but a girl. That's all.
Would you indulge me for a few moments?
Absolutely.
You have 3 minutes, I think.
So before.
Start the timer.
First of all, I would hope that this much passion is brought to every single thing that you do in your life.
Yes.
That's the first thing.
Who are you?
My name is Ike Skelton. I'm the presiding commissioner of Camden County. Along with James Gohagan, we appointed these folks.
Thank you.
So when I took office, we had a totally different board, and we had a different director. 2 folks came up for reappointment, and we knew that some folks wanted to be on the library board already, and we know that we see a movement across the country of different things going on that I'm pretty confident that almost everybody in this room would be opposed to, especially in our library systems and our school systems. Being elected by a large majority of the people of Camden County, I believe, and knowing the people of Camden County, that we have a particular life that we want to have here in Camden County, a particular set of values and morals that we want to have here in Camden County. But you know what? One thing fantastic about the United States Constitution in America is that the majority does not necessarily rule. Law rules. So we have laws that are in place and procedures. And one of those laws and procedures are that the county commission appoints your library board. Through those appointments, we attempt, and I believe we've done a pretty good job, of appointing folks that reflect the majority views of those that are here in Camden County. When they get on this board, then they have to come up with, and they're all volunteers, we all know that, right?
Right.
These 2 folks are the only ones that are paid on this, and you're the only ones paid. These 2 folks are. So they're all volunteers. And I think they do a pretty good job. So they're still required to then put policies and procedures in place that would help reflect the views and the morals of this community and how they want to see this library ran. That being said, again, there are other folks that also have the right and the ability to speak and to read and to use this library as they choose to use it.
40 seconds.
You're burning time, keep going.
I see the remainder of my time to you.
So
You were on the board before, right?
So these folks have to do those sorts of things. And if you knew the board that was comprised before and the director, not that they're all good people, don't misunderstand. But we didn't quite have what's going on now today. And I think part of that is because we do now have folks that reflect what you as a public really want to have in here. But again, you remember, everybody has a voice, and you can, in a year and a half, you can take it out on me and vote against me if you want to. But I really believe that earlier when Ms. Pope was speaking, that some folks were being very disrespectful, to be quite honest. Because everybody has the opportunity to say what they need to say and they want to say, and everybody should be heard. I believe that they have a really good policy in place to challenge these books, and I would encourage all of you to take a few extra minutes, find out what their policies are before you come into this meeting, and really find out how everything works before you come into this, so that you're more educated and informed on how this whole system works. It's not a perfect system. There is no perfect system other than God's creation, right?
Right.
That being said, it's a process to go through, and I don't know how they're going to vote on these books, but I have confidence in who we appointed that they are going to reflect the morals and the responsibilities that they have and this community has. So I would encourage you to think about how things used to be, and then maybe think about how they are now, and give these folks the opportunity to do what they need to do, and in a manner that does, again, reflect this community. And I think in the end, they're going to come up with a pretty good process of taking care of things. And I don't know about any of you, But I don't know of much any people better that they could have hired than Professor Paisley as the director of this library. So I know his frustrations, and I kind of understand a little bit now. So give these folks the opportunity, if you could, please, I ask you, to just do their jobs and work through this thing, because there are other people that have a little bit different opinions, and they have the opportunities to say what they want to say about those books as well, and that's what's happening now. So those were challenged, they were put in the adult section, and now those folks think that they should come back onto the other side. So we know they'll work through that. I promise you, they will work through that, and I guess that's all I have to say. So thank you.
Well, should we let her answer the question?
Have her sign up for her time.
Yeah, sure.
Have her sign up for her
All
time.
right, well, yeah, one more, otherwise we're going back to the list and we're moving on. Like someone stated earlier, we're all volunteers. I have a job to get to. This is costing me money to sit here, and we've already burned off over an hour, so we have other business we need to get to. So go ahead, and then we'll get back to our list.
Jay, would you pass that down?
I didn't put my name down, I'm sorry, I didn't know if I was
That's
gonna have
okay, we'll do it
anything to say or
afterwards.
not.
Her name's
But
there. Oh, it is?
My name is Summer Helton, and I'm a social studies teacher at one of the districts about an hour away. I definitely think it is a good idea for you all to be concerned with what is being taught in the schools and at the library, and you have to worry about things like the sexualization of children. I would also recommend that you worry about some other ideas, like can they handle any violent books? Okay? For instance, when I'm teaching, I would not teach my 6th graders Mein Kampf because they can't understand it. And it's a very violent, racist book. So it would not be responsible of me to teach them that. I also have high schoolers. Would I ever mention it to the high schoolers? Yes, but in a very guided way. And that's something I have to consider as a teacher whenever I am looking at things and how I'm teaching them and what my age group is. I wouldn't teach a 5-year-old something that I would teach a 15-year-old because the level of understanding is totally different. I would also caution you that some things that you all is learning as adults, that you all learn as adults, you have to be cautious for yourself. Ideas about communism, ideas about fascism, ideas about racism, you know. Look at what you're learning yourselves, because then you're going to pass it on to your kids. Look at the college campuses today. Those are not children. Those are adults. Okay? So we also need to be concerned with things that we are learning as adults. Now, we as adults are mature enough to teach that ourselves and learn that ourselves, but we have to be cautious what we are learning ourselves, because we're going to pass it on to our kids. I would also say that you have people like me and Professor Paisley who are doing our best to teach the right things at the right age. But you as parents and you as the public need to be involved. You have to be involved. You have to know your teachers. You have to know your professors, your library directors. You have to know your politicians. We cannot just stick our heads in the sand. And you have to know the information you're getting and you're learning, because you're speaking it out to other people.
Yes. Thank you.
I think there's 2 more. Time for a quick commercial break and a shameless plug. There's a book out there called Matt that is basically it's a history book of Missouri and the revolution in the 1860s. I would suggest everybody read that book. It's a wonderful book if you want to learn the history of Missouri and what went on during the Revolutionary War. And the author is Mr. Professor James Paisley. So shameless plug.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm surprised Professor Paisley hasn't brought that out yet.
No, I'm
Is it
trying.
in the library, Professor?
Yes, it is.
It's full of violence, gore, sex, everything.
It's a perfect depiction of Missouri.
Oh, okay. When's the movie coming out?
The children's section?
No, it's not in the children's section. No, I'll come out with a different version. Yeah.
Where are we at? We had Ann, Lenore Newer.
Yes.
Camden County for 45 years, raised our family and so forth. I'm just a concerned citizen. I did a little homework, and I've heard a couple people say they're not sure what the fallout is for the kids and so forth. And this is an actual study that was done by 5 authors, 5 institutions of learning in Canada, and 2 psychiatric institutions of learning. Came out in June of 2023, so it's very current, very pertinent. Exposure to sexual content and problematic sexual behaviors in children and adolescents. They call them PSBs, problematic sexual behaviors in children. So anyway, if you wanted to look at the study, it's at sciencedirect.com online. It does, long and short of it, they did a study of 16,200 children across North America, Asia, Africa, and Europe, whatever, four continents, and children ages 5 to 17 about exposure to sexual content, and I read that as books. And some kids as far as violent exposure, and those that was non-violent, books and so forth. And the long and short of it was that the conclusion they came to was that it affects children in adverse ways with problematic sexual, PSBs they call them, problematic sexual behaviors, whether it be like public masturbation or aggression towards their peers sexually or whatever. There is a correlation, a very direct correlation. So anyway, look it up online and read it. It's very informative, and it does show that there is, when children are exposed to sexual content, either violence in front of their eyes or in a book or whatever, it does affect them and it comes out in some way. So,
Thank you.
And Don Newer.
I could probably fill 3 minutes, and maybe I will, I'm not sure exactly how about it. I thank my wife so much for investigating this, and the board, what our presiding commissioner said, I have to echo as well, that I admire the folks to do that. But above all, we need to be involved, if I can tag on to maybe what was said here by the commissioner. We need to be involved more than just an emotional outbreak and coming to a meeting such as this and becoming emotional. We need to be pragmatic. We need to be thinking logically. A couple centuries plus ago, a group of guys got together and they spent a whole hot summer in a hall in Philadelphia hammering out a system of governance that is from a federal system on down. And it hammered out, we're not, I'm going to say this again, we are not a democracy. Right. They fought long and hard, cussed each other out in their own way of the 18th century to come to a system of governance that had checks and balances, realizing that we are, as the Bible intones to us, we are fallen, sinful human beings, and we each need a check on us. To the matter at hand right now, if I may divulge back to that, there's an appropriate time for kids to be exposed to things, and that's up to parents to do. We can debate long and hard how a lot of parents today are not filling that role, which makes it even more necessary that those of us who are involved, and somebody's values are going to rule the day, whether it be in the U.S., whether it be in Russia, whether it be in Venezuela, whether it be anywhere around the world. We have to be involved on an ongoing basis in order to effect that.
That's right.
I've been guilty of maybe sitting back a little bit on occasion and not paying attention. This past spring, I ran for and was in a challenge for a city commission spot, or city alderman, excuse me, in this town. I happened to win that. I'm glad I did. I've taken it as a real responsibility to do and properly employ the power that has thereby been invested in me. The one disappointing thing about that was that in this city, with a ward that's probably about 700 or so registered voters, there were 37 ballots cast. People, this is not the way that we were in,
30 seconds.
that these folks that suffered in that Philadelphia hall those 2.5 centuries ago envisioned. We need to be involved, we need to participate in order for this nation to, as Mr. Lincoln said, long stand. So, thank you again, board. Professor, I'm so happy to see you in this role. And we need the variety of voices. And we can't be having it be personal when we speak with one another. But we do need to challenge ideas, and we need to debate them openly in this. So I will be on record as saying that as far as this inappropriate behavior stuff, that can happen, and that can be damaging psychologically to young kids. I'll give a brief personal at the beginning as well. When I was a young child, I happened across some very soft stuff. Playboy. It wasn't really good for me. Was it enticing? Was it titillating? Any guy here would notice that.
Don?
Yeah.
Time.
And thank you very much. I
Thank
told you.
Diana Hutchinson.
Diana?
Did Diana leave?
I already spoke.
Oh,
She did.
oh, you snuck out of order. Yes, thank you. All right. All right.
That's the one I had signed.
All the public comments?
All right.
Okay.
So that's all we have on our list.
If I may, I would really like to thank all of the public for voicing your opinions and speaking. I would like to thank the public for voicing your opinions today. We as the library board, I think I speak for all of us, do appreciate hearing what you are feeling. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will say, though, that at the last big challenge meetings that we had, the room was full, and then after our policy was put in place, it was empty. So I'd like to see people come and be involved.
Are your meetings always the same time here? at
Yes.
this-
No.
No.
They're always
You're
at 9
second
o'clock.
Friday of a month, aren't you?
It varies, depends upon when the Friday
But
falls.
it is posted on our webpage.
Check the website.
All the, yes, the meeting dates for the rest of the year are posted on our website. You can find them there.
All right. Director's comments. Mr. Paisley.
You're on.
Director's comments.
You're up, son.
Okay.
3 minutes.
Believe it or not, we are doing a lot of good things here. And I just wanted to, a lot of this is what I'm sharing with the board. They're hearing this pretty much for the first time too. And it basically is a rundown of what we've been doing. We have gotten some grants for lighting for the buildings. We have 6 buildings here in this district, and it's a lot to keep them all up and running. But we've been working with the state to get grants. We've just received one just for light bulbs of all things, but it was $4,494 for light bulbs. Yeah, it's interesting to say the least. We held a branch managers meeting. I've been trying to work with each of the branch managers to discuss things like what we're talking about today. And we just had our summer kickoff for the reading program. It has been a huge success, okay? Had all the branch managers were here. We had entertainment. We had the opportunity for kids to sign up to read a certain number of books, like 10 books, and then they get all kinds of prizes and awards and stuff. So it's a great program, and like I say, my hat's off to the entire staff here pulling that off. It was great. We had it right out front here. It was, if you weren't there, you got to be there next year.
Jim, can I interject just for a moment?
Yes,
And all
absolutely.
of those prizes and things were donated by
Absolutely,
the public.
yes.
So you need to know that.
Yes,
Great prizes.
Well, it was things like, just any number of things, bridal cave passes, and just all sorts of things. The community stepped forward, and I appreciate the community helping us with that program as well. And it's an ongoing thing throughout the summer, so it's working out very well. We have some problems with infrastructure here. We've got an air conditioning system that's 23 years old, so. Needless to say, my good friend over here, Mark, who's my IT guy, came in one morning and he had a blue Walmart tarp laid over his desk because the air conditioning system is leaking through the tiles onto his desk. and our server room, because that air conditioning system is laying down, went up to 110 degrees. If we lose the server, we're in big trouble. So that's something that we're going to be looking at in the future to try and figure out how we can do this. We're looking at grants and everything possible. The server, like I say, is a huge problem. I would like in the future to try and talk to the board. We do not have generators in any of our libraries. If our server goes down, to give you an idea how crazy it is, we are tied in with Mornet. I got a call from the people in Stoutland one Saturday morning and said, I have no phone service, I'm on my cell phone. Our entire system here, Stoutland, Max Creek, Climax Spring, all of our phone systems run off of Mornet. If the server goes down, all of our phones go down. If the server goes down, you can't check books out because they're all scanned now. If the server goes down, we could go on and on and on. So I'm going to be concentrating on trying to figure out how we can get redundancy in the system to at least keep that server system up and running. Okay, so that's a big deal in itself. We're also, those of you that are from Max Creek, you notice that on the wall facing the highway, that's all faded out. We're getting some quotes on replacing the panels that are up there. In the meantime, I've done 2 more Lake TV shows as an outreach to try and get people to come in and see the library. And we've been pulling books as I do different shows. The last 2 I've done have been about famous Missourians. Did one on Walt Disney. There's one airing right now that's on Joseph Pulitzer. Next one will be on J.C. Penney. And what we're doing is we're asking each of the libraries to pull books that they have on the topic so that when people come in, the books are already pulled for you so you can follow up if you're interested in the topic. We also do a show called Chapter and Chatter here. Again, it is an open forum for the people to come in. We have coffee. It's usually 8 o'clock in the morning. Have coffee for the public. And it's very similar to the shows I used to do on KRMS, current events. I did one on the Middle East. We've done one on Russia and Ukraine. The last one we just did was on education. The next one will be on Taiwan and China. So that'd be kind of an interesting topic, to say the least. Mark, again, has been working on grants. Again, we're doing everything we can to save money. We just got 31 brand new computers for public use. How much did that come to, Mark? $27,000 in grants.
Thank you, Mark.
Didn't cost the public a dime, and you get faster, better computers. So, way to go, Mark, right? We've also been working with Mornet on things like firewalls, things that most people don't think about. But again, that was a huge cost saving to us. Again, how much did that save us?
$40,000 to $50,000.
About $50,000, where we would have had to upgrade the firewalls on everybody's computers. We got the state to pony up for it. So again, we're doing everything we can to run this as efficiently as possible. Now I'm going to brag just a little bit more. These programs, these summer kickoff programs, Tuesday, June 11th, we had 120 adults and children in this room for a science demonstration. Part of that program to get kids to come in, sign up for the reading programs. Wonders of Wildlife was at the Osage Beach Library on May 29th. There we had 78 children and 44 adults show up. Okay, so our outreach is working. June 12th, we had Trevor from the Lake Ozark Dive Group come in. 60 people attended that. Wednesday, June 12th, Stoutland had 58 people attend a blacksmithing demonstration. So we're doing all kinds of really interesting things, all right? And throughout the district, okay? Sunrise Beach had Connie the Snake Lady. Yay! We're going to keep her out of my house, but Connie the Snake Lady went to Climax Springs. And there we had 78 people. I don't know how many of you have been to some of these smaller libraries, Stoutland, Climax Springs. I'm telling you. I mean, some of them I feel like you got to go outside to change your mind. And they're that small. So, 78 people to show up in those communities is great. Wednesday, June the 12th, 32 people attended program at Max Creek that was presented by the emergency response team here in the area. So these are just some of the things that we are trying to do. And again, we have this magazine we put out. Coley does a great job on that. It comes out quarterly, and it's between the pages, and it lists all of these great, neat programs that we're doing. I mean, I've been looking at my schedule and I'm trying to get out to these things. There's tons of fun things that I'd love to go to. And again, community, please.
Not to interrupt you, but how do you sign up to get one of those
We-
papers so that you know all the things that are
Pick
going
it up
on?
at your library.
They're distributed throughout the county. Most times, usually at the gas stations, we have them.
The gas stations?
Sometimes we do put them out there. You can come into our building and get them. They're on our website.
Yeah,
Oh, they're on the website too?
Yes.
You can read it on the website.
Absolutely.
It's online.
Oh, wonderful.
And they're right
Okay.
inside the door when you walk in.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
no, that's
The
fine,
next one will come out the
fine.
first week of July.
Okay, that's pretty much what I got.
All right.
All right, minutes, I'm assuming that's minutes from last month, is not
Yep, need a motion to
called
approve
up?
last month's minutes.
I will make a motion that we approve last month's minutes.
Excuse me, Vicki, I would like to interject real quick. In the minutes, it stated that I had to leave the meeting, and could that be amended to to say for a personal medical emergency?
Yes.
Oh, my. Of
Yes,
course.
absolutely.
I would
Thank
like
you.
to accept the minutes with the amended,
Accept the amended
with,
minutes.
per amended, yes.
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Nancy, you're
appreciate it.
seconding it?
Thank you, sir.
Aye, I'm in
Alright.
favor.
So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And that can be found on the website.
Yes, it can.
All right, treasurer's report.
Any questions on the treasurer's report?
It's very thorough, thank you.
Make a motion?
To accept it?
To-
So-
yes.
So moved.
I will second that.
Thank
All in
you.
favor?
Aye.
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 And the bills payable.
Yeah, bills payable. That probably should have been under treasurer's report, shouldn't it?
You could lump them together if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Maybe next time we'll remember.
Okay, well, motion to accept bills payable as is?
Somebody can make that motion?
I'll make the motion, we accept it.
Second.
Okay,
Thank you.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, branch reports. I was scanning through the branch reports. I have a question. In the Climax Spring, what is Chicks with Sticks? Is that like knitting or?
They knit.
Yes.
Okay,
Knitting and crocheting.
I thought so, but.
I've been afraid to go find out.
True story, I was in California getting tires on a motorcycle, and a group of women came in that were dykes on bikes, and I tell you, they scared the hell out of me. I sat in a corner.
There you go.
I want to make a point that, looking through all of the branch reports, that people through the door have increased in all but one, and it was just a slight decrease in our libraries, and they keep going up every single month, because I've been keeping track since January, and the numbers have really improved. And I believe a lot of that is due to public outreach and a lot more visibility for the library.
Yeah, I believe in May, every library was down a little bit, but after that, every month is going up and up and up.
Summer reading programming helps, contributes to those increases, as well as the snowbirds are back in town.
Right. Mhm.
So, you know, you'll typically see an increase
Yeah.
at the time of the year.
Yeah. The Osage Beach branch, their children's programs, the amount of kids they have coming in there is fantastic. And again, Stoutland, for the small facility they have, is
They do theirs at the
phenomenal.
school.
What's that?
Theirs are held at the school.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I've been planning to get out to Stoutland. I wanna see the facility, and I wanna talk to, what's her name, Mary?
Marie?
Marie. What she's doing is, I mean, she's doing so much with so little, is fantastic. All right. Motion to accept the branch reports?
So moved.
Second?
Do we need to accept those?
It's on the list, it has to be.
Well,
Okay, well then I'll second them.
All right,
you don't really need a motion to, but we can do that.
all right. Well,
Mary Pat?
Mhm,
yeah, is it done? Unfinished business, the tuition reimbursement policy.
Mark, you have the proposed policy with us? Thank you.
I wanted to thank Becky for all the time she put in on this tuition reimbursement policy rewrite. So thank you.
Well, I want to thank you for your help.
Oh, I just read Mark. You're welcome.
Can I possibly ask a question regarding this?
I'm sorry, what?
Can I ask a question about the tuition reimbursement?
Sure.
Well, I'm wondering, in this day and age, imagine a 4-year degree is rather expensive. Can the library afford a full tuition reimbursement for a 4-year degree?
Well, it's a master's program, is your library science, correct? You get a bachelor's degree and then you get a master's in library science. So it's actually a 2-year program that they're applying to, if I know well, my previous experience with that.
Yes, we have taken into consideration the cost, and yes, we can afford it. It's not like we have every employee on this program. To date, we've only had 3 employees take advantage of it. We have 1 right now that's finishing up, so, you know, unless we ran into a problem where we had everybody and their brother applying, we wouldn't be able to, but for what the cost has been, it's well worth the money spent. You all are aware of how hard it is to get good help down here. I'm a firm believer if we can breed our own and train them, then to me it's the investment.
We just hear about tuition increasing across colleges all over the country astronomically.
I'm not sending them to Harvard.
Yeah. No? Or yeah, right, yeah.
Absolutely.
So we have 3 versions out there. We had one where I brought one forward. I have to admit, you know, I look at it from just a taxpayer's standpoint. But in discussing it and seeing Mr. Paisley's suggestion, looking at it from an employer standpoint, it really does make sense if you've got a good employee that wants to go forward and learn and appears that they would do well in that position, that we should support them, you know, in sending them. So we have, and then Jay has a suggestion also. So we have 3 suggestions, and I think between all of us, if we discuss them, we can come up with a consensus of what we feel is a good direction to go.
Well, you're also picking up I just read this now, because normally a master's degree in library science is required to be a director or, you know, I don't even know, you know, not just to work, but in any type of position of leadership in a library, a master's in library science. Is that still a requirement? I'm from an Illinois school, you know, library system, so I'm not sure here. But anyhow, but it looks like you're actually picking up an undergrad, a 4-year degree, either in marketing or, now, are you making any requirement? If you're paying for them to go this, do they have to then commit
Yes.
for so many years
Yes.
to the library
It's
system afterwards?
in the policy. We've made a commitment, but as
You're only seeing, there's 2 pages to this,
Oh,
so we
okay,
need to maybe, can we move it down to where we can go over it?
And if you look at the master's degree in library science, business administration, you see marketing that's on there too. That is also to include the other people who are employed at the library, like Coley, who does the marketing, and Mark, who does the technology. Just include that whole gamut.
And not to point out Vicky, but she also, you were able to go to back to school.
Yes, I
And
got my
she does
bachelor's degree.
a marvelous job as far as the accounting,
Thank
so.
you.
Do the candidates come before the board to be approved?
No, they do not. The director.
Who makes the director? Oh, director, you're the
Makes the
sole person
decision.
who makes that decision.
One of the decisions, or one of the options that we have put forth is, it will be not just the director, but also the board will have a say on, you know.
On an application?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I think that we've changed a little bit of the wording, as far as,
That is really faint.
we tried to, people need to be.
Sorry, I didn't expect it to be popped up there.
Yeah. People need to be here and They have to be a continuous employee for a year before they can even, and then they are, names are submitted by their personal library supervisor. And then it would go to Jim, and the option that we have added is that it would also include us, so that we can approve it, correct?
Yes.
One of the concerns I have coming in here and looking at the whole situation is, like everybody else here at the lake, I've got a lot of baby boomers working for me, and you know, I've already experienced in several different businesses the brain drain that happens, and so I would like to have a cadre of people that would be waiting in the wings to step up and take the place of these people that are going to be leaving, and not through, they're just simply going to retire, and we don't have any method in place to move those people forward. So that's part of this. Okay.
So one of the changes I asked about on there is, right now it's undergraduate degree, master's degree, library science, business admin, graphic arts, information technology, marketing. Why couldn't it be broadened to really anything that is going to help promote a person in their position, either current or future?
I'm good with that.
Being the recipient of tuition reimbursement myself, and also my wife being a recipient of tuition reimbursement, we were dirt poor when we went to school. It really helped, and I was with that company for, I think, 12 years after that, and my wife is 15 years later still working for the company that.
Well, I think that as the library evolves, there may be other positions that will have to be filled, so that if we keep it more of a generic title in general, that it would incompat, or it would, I didn't say that.
I think you have to, that's a slippery slide, because there are degrees out there that you can wallpaper your bathrooms with for what they're valued. And if you don't have some real strong parameters, you're gonna get somebody who says, you know what, you really need to have a gender affirming person here with a degree that you guys are gonna pay for, because, you know, you gave a very vague who gets to do it, and I want that degree, and you're gonna pay for it. So I think
Well, and then the board can all look at it and go, you know what, we're not gonna pay for someone to do a gender affirming.
You're making policies. You're making policies that somebody else is gonna step into your shoes at some point
And change.
that can reevaluate what it means. So
Well, let me clarify though, there was a policy in place already. We're just, what you're just saying, this is what's happening now. Our previous policy, the library paid 100% of everything, and we've got that.
A's and B's.
And I wasn't informed.
Yes, 100% of A's and B's. And we are discussing some additional checks and balances in there.
Right.
So we're in that process now. Now, that doesn't mean that this board changes, somebody's gonna come in and change these policies
They could drop it
again.
all together.
Right.
You know, it's just not
It's all
gonna,
part of the changing board and
yes.
what happens.
And it also states approved programs accredited by NCA, which is in North Central Accrediting Association, and other approved programs. So I think we've kind of caught it all there.
Okay.
Where we could catch into those, this one says, or other approved programs accredited by NCA. So maybe we could put or other accrediting agencies, other approved accrediting agencies. That would cover your maintenance.
The ALA would probably allow the gender, yeah.
But ALA is not an approved accrediting
No,
entity.
it's not.
No, it's not.
Really?
Right.
No.
Cool.
Nope,
It's okay.
So I think if we just change our verbiage on that would work for other approved accrediting agencies, approved by the director and the board.
Right.
I think that we only have the one up here, and I don't know.
That's the one
That's
the
mine?
latest one. That's this one right here, the latest one
Okay,
that you sent
okay.
with the changes on it.
Okay, that's Jay's. Yes, because I sent it. I did, because I thought, yes. So I like what Jay said. He added the other approved thing. Another change that we made that you may not know about is, it used to be just 1 year employment, and we made it continuous employment, so that, and we did make it to where if they do have to, if they go through the program, they have to stay so long with the library. And if they don't, then they have to repay the portion. So we did kind of quantify that just a little bit more.
If we can scroll down a little bit, do you have that, or?
I think what they have is yours up there, Jay, so.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that it was going to be mine on there. Keep
Sorry.
going a little bit.
I don't have, I think I like yours, so.
So also A's was suggested at 75%. I think an A should be 100% tuition reimbursement.
Yes, I did too.
75% for B, 50% for C, and anything below that, pass or fail, would be 75%, because if the school can't get it together, you know.
Or is that their grades for the class?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
They
okay.
have to turn their grades in to be reimbursed.
Yeah, they have a certain amount of time after the completion of the course to turn their records into the director.
It was my suggestion to make the 75%. As a taxpayer, I feel like, you know, I was
Well,
a
then
little
they have a
bit,
buy-in.
I was a
If
little
you
bit
get-
squeaky.
It's a buy-in by the person. You know, the thing is that, you know, I put it this way, I've had college classrooms where I got an A just for showing up, something like that, you know, and there's others that I have to work my buttons off. So, you know, I think my personal feeling is a buy-in from the person that says to me, I
Well,
really want that class.
the buy-in, if you want to put it that way, the buy-in is if I work my butt off, I'm going to get reimbursed for this. That's my buy-in. I mean, it's kind of like sweat equity getting into a house.
Okay.
Yeah, but the point she made is that there are classes that you can take, just show up and you're gonna get your A.
And, well, yeah, and they really shouldn't be part of, you know, an accredited undergraduate or something like that. I mean, the library's not going to pay for classes for basket weaving.
If I get an A, I will.
But it has to be.
It has to be approved
Has to be
beforehand.
approved.
Oh, okay, so there is a system. The
Yes.
person submits what class they're taking.
Right.
Then they take the class, and then they submit their grade, and then you reimburse.
Well, yeah, they submit the class they want to take. It has to be approved by the director. Part of the change of this is the board also has to approve it.
Okay.
They take the class, they have a certain amount of time to produce the documents that they pass at whatever level, and then they would be reimbursed. So if it's a basket weaving class,
Well, in any degree, there are what they call requirements, and then there are also your electives.
right.
And the electives are the things that basically will help the library. A requirement could be, I have to take a class in, geography, and it could be something very, whatever. So, I mean.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but that's part of what's put in place here. Of if it's one of those, if I show up and sleep through the class, I'll get an A, it's probably not going to be approved.
But it may be a required class for you to get your undergrad degree. The master's is different. I think, I put it this way, if I had this, I would say those in the master's program. If you get an A in a master's program, that's 100%.
Mhm.
In an undergrad, I think the 75% makes more sense for an undergrad degree because there's so many requirements that you have to take that are not specific to your degree.
Right, yeah, I mean, there are stupid electives.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and all those would be a case by case of if the library would pay for it, because there are some that just have to be covered.
I would like to propose that we do not pay the 100% as is posted on there. I was college professor for many years, and there are grants out there. There's any kind of aid if you take the effort to go apply for the scholarship or the grant or whatever. I think 75% is very fair. I think that would be a wonderful reimbursement to that person. I think most people would be very fortunate and very appreciative of receiving that. So I don't agree with the 100%. I would stay with the 75, 80 maybe % for the A.
You guys have to vote on that?
Okay, so I don't know how to proceed.
Do we wanna
I know
make-
we're gonna end up with we're gonna make,
Some tweaks? You're not ready to
Yes.
vote. You want to
Right.
put
Yeah,
together
what-
another proposed policy, so you want to
or
defer
that
this
we
to the
can
next
at
meeting?
least agree with certain points that,
I think that would be good, just to discuss with that, and it should be a board discussion too.
Right.
It should be a board discussion of what
Right,
happens.
and we're already
So-
running so late today that let's move that on
So-
to unfinished business for next month to discuss this further.
so, and what we'll do is make sure that everybody has a copy of the 3 versions that are out there.
Okay.
That kind
And,
of makes it confusing too.
The one other thing I had on here, and I can get more. There it is. Employees will repay 25% of total tuition reimbursement. Employee terminates employment with CLD after 30 months of completed class. There has to be an end date in there. You know, so if they're here for 30 months and 2 days, that they still have to pay because there's no,
there's no date.
yeah.
And we don't have a date, and I don't know that it's important, but, they need to have their application in by a certain time. Is there not necessarily a date that you need that by?
That's one of the issues that I had, was you had it in, you know, that they had to have this in before the 30th, June the 30th of each year in consideration for the next fiscal budget. I think we need to drop that, because the thing is a student comes in September and wants to sign up for a class, I don't want them to have to wait until next year to get on board. So it just needs to be, and I mean, we can handle that. We will set aside a budget item that, you know, anticipating that we might have somebody coming. The only other thing I see, you know, my vote would be for 100%, but if we could go back up to where it talks about the reimbursement program will pay up to, we've got 40 credit hours per eight semester. Basically, the way it works right now, it's 3 credit hours for class, and most of these classes nowadays are 8-week semesters. So we need to change the verbiage there so it matches what the colleges have.
Okay.
Okay?
And I also, I know too that you requested that the grants and that be taken out.
Yes.
But I would like to leave that, because if that encourages them to even, otherwise I didn't have help in
Neither
taking
did
my
I.
colleges, you know.
Neither did I.
And my daughter, she scoured for grants, and I think that's important that they at least try. I am all for helping and supporting, and maybe, you know, at even a higher percentage than what I suggested to begin with, because I understand your point of view, but I don't want to take the grants out. I think that if there are grants available to help, then that should be taken as part of the, I don't know how hard it is to keep track of. It shouldn't be too hard.
I would
I think
totally,
ALA has
I would
lists
totally
of
agree with you. I'm sorry that this is a board discussion, sorry, I'm sorry. But I would totally agree with you with that. And grants are so easy to find now that everything's online, that all you have to do is pull up, you want a grant in this area, are you looking for a scholarship?
Well, no, right now it's set up, they can get either one or the other. They can either end up with a grant, or they can get a tuition reimbursement. So if they can get a grant, and instead of giving them 100%, let's say the grant is for 50%, and if they get an A, the library board would give them the other 50% for 100%.
Exactly,
That could work.
yeah.
So
That's what I was thinking would be, if, whatever
The grants-
amount that
the
they
grants are-
receive.
Scholarships are taken right off from the top whenever the college bills you.
Right.
So whenever the student submits their bill for their semester or 8-week session, it shows in there what they actually ended up out
Have
of
it
pocket.
out of pocket, okay.
Right, so it's really, it's
It's
easy
a
to.
redundancy, you feel?
Well, I kind of feel it as if it is, and also it's, whenever you're talking, it's a non-traditional scholarship as well. Sometimes that's a little bit harder to get. You have to get those from certain organizations that are willing to do that. Most of the organizations, as you know, are willing to give them to high schoolers who are just
Right.
graduating.
Right. Not many for adults.
Not many for, adults.
I guess my
Non-traditional
question then
scholarships.
is, does it hurt to have it in there? If they don't have a grant, we've already just said we would pay up to a certain amount. If they have a grant, does it hurt it? I mean, it's not gonna hurt us any if we have to.
But I don't,
Chances are, what you're saying is, most of the time, especially as an older employee, they're not gonna have a grant. They're not.
well, some of them will.
They
I
can.
believe, I was not able to. I think Karen was able to because she did not even submit any reimbursement forms. Debbie, who's now going, I don't believe did. I believe Coley, I know, she got a scholarship because I sponsored her for a scholarship. So,
But they're out there, and
They
with
are. You
more
have
and
to
more
work
older
hard.
people
Right.
going to college,
There
they're
are.
there. I
All right.
know,
So
they're
at-
there.
So it
At
does-
this point, I think we should just put this as continued unfinished business for next month.
Yes.
We can
And if you know
email
what-
and put online for,
It may,
changes
I'm
and-
hoping that at some point, we're able to come together on this, because
well,
this is
absolutely.
the only time we have to talk about it.
and
I mean, it does cut our time as far as discussion down, so, I mean, I'm
There
not
has been some
frustrated, I'm
discussion
just
of
saying-
us having a work day or a work afternoon or something like that perhaps. That won't interfere with employment, but where we can sit down and talk about long-term and short-term goals and what we expect to be able to do as the library board.
Right, we could have a meeting, a public meeting somewhere besides here. We could all go to a bar, restaurant, kick back, have a beverage of choice. As long as we post it, announce it,
and make sure that the place that we are going accommodates the people that want to come.
sure.
It is hard to discuss things when we only meet for a couple of hours a month.
One thing on the that tuition reimbursement policy too is, the one that we have now, the budget for that does not exceed 1% of the total revenue. So that's another
Thing to
checks and
consider.
balance to keep it in line as to how much you are actually going to spend per year. So that's
Our own bills.
That's, yeah.
All right, so new,
And beer.
defer.
Okay, thank
We
you.
need a motion to defer that?
I will make a motion that we defer that till the next meeting. And
I'll
also
second it.
with thanks to Becky for preparation.
all right, all approved?
Aye.
Aye. New
I don't know, by the
business,
time we ever
the
get to it, I might just say
2023
okay.
audit.
Yes, do we have a motion to approve the audit for 2023, please?
I will make a motion that I make all the motions. I'm gonna
do.
make the motion, we approve the audit for 2023. Very well done.
Thank you.
And congratulations to Vicki for the preparation.
Second?
I'll second it.
All right,
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Well done, Vicki.
thank you.
Videotaping board meetings.
That was something that I brought up with the videotaping. Last month, when I first brought this up, there were two people who were online. One was Adam, who was called out because of medical reasons, and another person. And I'm just wondering what value that is to everyone to have it videotaped, because we've got a lot of people here who are interested and showed up today, so thank you. But I'm going to defer this to Professor Paisley to address it, because it does absorb a lot of his employees' time.
I'm sorry, I'd like to interject real quick. I have a question for Coley. I was experiencing a lot of breakup as the people were speaking regarding the book topic. Were you experiencing the same breakup in your headset?
Not in the headset, no. Are you watching it on YouTube or are you watching it through the Teams?
I couldn't hear you, I'm sorry.
Did you watch it through YouTube? Were you watching it through YouTube or was it through?
Okay.
Talking about today.
I know,
Okay.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Is he watching it live on YouTube right now as we're doing it? Or was he just watching it as we were going live through his
Got it.
The
device?
Teams, well, we had a lot of breakup anyway with the speaker
There was nothing on
that.
on
Oh,
YouTube.
okay.
There was
Oh,
no,
okay,
I mean,
good.
there was a couple times where we were switching between audio, trying to get the best audio for everybody, but as far as I could tell, there was not anything, there was nothing on it to tell.
Okay.
So,
Okay, so Coley, your everything you heard was clean and should come out clean on the posting?
yeah, because every time I thought there was a glitch or something, I'd look at Mark because it was me, because we were just switching between microphones to make sure everything was sounding right.
So it should be all right.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
If I could, I am one of the ones that has jumped on board with this, not videotaping these things, and it's not because we're trying to hide, it's not because we're trying to hide anything. In the past, we've never videotaped these things. It's something that was just recently done with the board right before I came on board.
Before I came on.
The problem that I have is that I've got two of my key players are tied up all day long every time we have one of these things for two people to watch at home. We post the board minutes. We have everything's on our website. Everything is available through our website, through the written word. This also limits us as far as where you can even have a board meeting, because we do not have the internet capabilities and everything at all of our libraries to live stream these sort of things. And it takes a long time to set this up. And once we're done, then these people have to download this whole thing and get it all sorted out again. And we've had meetings where they've been here late at night trying to get the thing done to download so that you can look at it on YouTube, which nobody's looking at. So for me, from a business standpoint, I would much rather have these people working on things that we need to be doing than videotaping these meetings.
That sounds like a legitimate concern. Thanks for bringing it up. Would it take a motion, or do we
A
need?
motion to stop videotaping.
I'll make a motion to do so.
Well,
I'd like to.
before
can I
we
just-
vote on that,
I would like to just, do we have an alternative? I don't want to be accused of not being transparent. I want people to know, and we don't always include. So if we don't have videotaping, which I'm all for, get rid of it, I mean, honestly. But how can we be transparent?
Our minutes are transparent, they
We're
take all
doing
the
it.
action.
We're
But
doing it
it
right
doesn't-
here.
But it doesn't, our minutes do not reflect everything
The
that.
discussion, no, it does not. It's only, minutes are only meant to record action.
Okay, so I think that then we're gonna eliminate part of the importance of so people
Have to
won't.
come.
Catch-22.
Yeah.
Audio tape, you can only audio.
Yeah, and then they could just listen on an audio,
What?
that'd take a lot less time.
we have a member of the audience with our hand raised.
Hi, so I took today off from my full-time job so I could be here in person. I can't do that every month. I only have so much PTO, and I did want to be here for this today. I also do Teams weekly at work. Why don't you record off the Teams? No one has to sit there to just push the button of record while you're having your meeting. You could also do it on Google, and it would go straight to YouTube.
Right.
So why can't we work something like that out? I mean, you have an IT person, I'm sure you know how to do that. Thank you.
Go ahead, if you want to answer that.
With Teams, we don't use Google software anymore. We did get rid of that. We use Microsoft Teams. With our package, we have 45 minutes of record time to put out there. correct? I mean, I think that's what I saw the other day, that we can only record for 45 minutes. So we've been in here for over 2 hours now, and it's not anywhere near done. For the, like they said, before when we were doing this, we weren't going live, we were recording it. We would take it back to our offices, we would render it, upload it, and that takes forever, because by the time this is done rendering, it goes from 20 gigabytes to 60 gigabytes. So,
It might be cheaper
And
to
the-
upgrade
I-
to a longer meeting on your Teams then, than to have to go through your staff's
But
time.
again, I'm trying to run this as efficiently and as, as I can. It's your taxpayer dollars, and then, do you want me spending the money to upgrade a whole system so that for 2 people to watch this?
I do
That's-
believe that most of
Right,
our
the cost
information too is posted on the CCLD.org website.
US.
Yeah, US, sorry, .US website, so you can see that. That
Well-
information is available.
And this is like any other board. If we post the minutes and you've got a question, guess what? You can contact any of these people and ask them.
Right, and policies
There's
are
no-
posted.
You can contact me, you can contact my staff, you can contact the members of the board. So,
Could we look into what it would cost to get the couple hours of Teams?
we already have.
No?
Yeah, it's
It's kind of budget prohibitive.
yeah.
Is it possible just to do the audio?
Again, to
Or
what
is it the
end?
same thing?
To what end?
Okay.
Again, I'd much rather see the board make a motion to just not do it and not record it and then move forward. And if people have questions, they're more than welcome to attend a meeting or to contact a member of the board or me.
Nancy, you want to make that motion?
That we discontinue recordings and that we use the minutes as our source of information for the public.
Okay. Second?
I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm gonna.
Okay. He abstains.
Okay, so we got a yes from Rebecca?
No,
Yes
I
from?
didn't say yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you said yes.
No.
I
it's
did.
Mary
Okay, Mary
Pat.
Pat.
I'm abstaining right now.
Yeah, still 3-2, so.
Okay. Adam is yes?
Adam was a yes.
And- Yep, and Jay is abstaining, and Rebecca abstains. So yes, motion carries.
Motion passed.
All right, on to challenged books. I requested several times that this not be a book club meeting. I wanted just a show of hands to move or leave in the adult section, or a show of hands to put back or leave in the children's section. So that being said, ABC of equality. All those in favor of moving to or leaving in the adult section, say aye.
Well,
Aye.
we need to make a motion. These are come as a motion.
So I make the motion that the book ABCs of Equality be returned to the children's section.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
We have to get a second first. Is anybody going to second that motion?
I'll second that.
Okay. Okay, all in favor of putting back in the children's section, say aye.
Aye.
All in favor of leaving or moving to the adult section, say aye.
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 Okay, adult section. Girls Resist, Guide to Activism, Leadership, and Revolution. Motion to move back into the children's section.
I strongly recommend it. It's a great book.
Which one is it?
Girls Resist.
Oh, Girls Resist.
Yeah. Okay, so a motion's been made to move back to the children's section. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor of moving back to the children's section, say aye.
Mary Pat?
Aye.
I'm not, no,
No?
no.
Okay, Rebecca?
This is moving it back to the children's section, correct?
Right.
Right.
So-
Young adult.
So we
Young
have,
adult.
so we have one vote to move back. All in favor of leaving in the adult or moving to the adult section, say aye.
I have to,
You're doing that kind of wrong.
yeah, we haven't, we're giving
You
this
need,
backwards.
you need to
Do a roll call vote.
You need
Right.
to do the, Nancy had said to leave it in there.
To leave it in the children's.
So then we
Adam
had a
second.
second, which was Adam.
Right,
Then
so-
you need to call for the vote.
I did,
And
and
then-
Nancy was the only one
No.
that said to move it
And
back
then,
to children.
and then you need to call for the other vote. Okay, now we're gonna, this vote is going to be to leave it in the adult section.
And
May I
that's
have a
what I just
motion?
did.
But we haven't
We didn't
got
get
a-
a second.
We haven't gotten a response from the first.
Right, you need a roll call.
Right.
So Rebecca, how are you voting to?
For the first one?
To, Nancy Pope moved to leave the book in the adult section. I mean, in the YA section.
I voted against putting it back in the
Okay,
children's section.
and Jay?
I vote against the children's
Okay.
section. Adam, do you vote to?
I vote against moving to children's section.
Okay.
I would strongly recommend board members read the book.
I
I've read it.
did. I read enough of each of these books to form my own opinion. Thank you.
We did all read.
We've all
These
read
have
the
all been
books.
in here.
So,
Okay.
Okay?
Voted against it, right?
Right.
He seconded and voted against it.
Yes.
Okay, just make sure I got that right. And the third book is?
The third book is Jacob's New Dress.
I recommend it be returned to the children's section.
Okay, so you're putting a motion out there to return that to the children's section. Anyone second that motion?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, so all in favor of moving it back to the children's section?
Mary Pat?
No.
Rebecca?
No.
Jay?
No.
Nancy? You?
Yes.
Adam?
No.
Okay.
Okay. So all the books will remain in the children, in the adult section.
All books will remain in the adult section?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay,
Motion to go into.
all right.
Closed session.
So we need to make a motion to go into the closed session.
I'll make a motion, we go into closed session.
I'll second it.
Okay, second. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right.
Now that has to be a roll call, so you
Yeah.
second, Jay?
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
No,
Okay.
someone's,
Who
Nancy,
seconded
did
to go
you
into
second
closed
that one?
session?
I made the
I did.
motion.
Nancy.
Rebecca, I'm sorry. Thanks, Jay.
Okay.
All, yes.
His new book, What a Challenge.
Well, here's the objection form for his
It doesn't have to be done anyway.
I can't get up.
So